VidyaMitra Talk, a podcast where we'll bring you real conversation with people who have built meaningful careers, business, and impact. This series is designed to help students, working professionals, and aspiring entrepreneurs to gain clarity, confidence, and direction from real life journeys which are beyond the textbook and theories. Today, we have with us a former lieutenant in Indian Navy and a marine engineer. This personality has spent over a decade working across 10 countries in global dredging and shipping management industry before making a bold shift back to Bharat. In 2008, he founded NALS Outdoors, combining leadership, adventure, and personal development. Through his work, he has touched the lives of more than 38,000 individuals, including students, professionals, and entrepreneurs, and have trained them in leadership, adaptability, and resilience. He is also an innovator in adventure infrastructure and a passionate mentor focused on building strong minds and future ready individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us Shri Seshadri ji. Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram, Dr. Vinod. It's a great pleasure and honor to be on your show.
Lovely, sir. You have been in the marine space, you have been in the shipping and dredging industry. What was the motivation for you to move into the adventure leadership programs?
I think I would answer it in two parts. I I think it's a very silly moment or a silly conversation over dinner with my then friend and college mate. And the second part is I was right in time. I was a certified mountaineering instructor in 2007. I was just freelancing, enjoying my journeys in the Himalayas. But the first part is more interesting, where we were actually traveling in resorts and guest houses in Nilgiris, and my partner, now currently partner, propped up a question, what about buying a resort? Then I think it was just my mood at that time. I said, yeah, these resorts are killing people by feeding them too much and allowing them to live in a wanton way. And I would say very honestly to him at that time, said, taking money from somebody and doing them good in reverse is what is my view. And investing in a resort wouldn't give me that kind of fulfillment or direction. It's a very silly conversation in a funny way. There was no other intent to it. But the good news is my friend took it up very seriously. A month later, he said, why don't we do something in that direction? Which is what motivated me to design something in the outdoor space, where we were exactly the opposite of what the resorts or guest houses would do to their customers. We would deny customers comfort, luxury, food and wine. In a simple nutshell, after 20 years, I can say with confidence, we give customers what they need and not what they want. That's a simple story, yeah.
Beautiful. I think this has become the need of the hour also, because everybody wants to connect with the nature. Minimalism is the new mantra. Plus, nature is the best teacher. So, whatever we call it as detox or stress reduction, just come there and be in the space. I think life gets sweet.
Absolutely. Now, I would say fast forward 20 years now, the need of the hour is a lot of cravings. We all human beings have. And let us say go back 50 years, these cravings must have been there. But affordability and availability have dramatically changed in the last 50, 60 years. Too much of availability and equally affordability has made our cravings meet its goals. So I can have whatever I want. I'm talking from a food sense. I can drink whatever I want at any time of the day. And these cravings are detrimental to human physiology, psychology, is what the world has come to realize. And yeah, 365 days we are living the cravings. I would say it's very detrimental to our lifestyle. So we are trying to reverse this aspect through our programs. We are inculcating the habit of self-control. which our ancestors had abundantly experienced, and they live in a lifestyle of self-control. And yeah, primarily I have to live a life of self-control, which is very difficult in a modern world where everything is available in volumes and cheap. It's very, very difficult, I would say. And young people are subject to huge amount of troubles because of this. They are subjected to all the marketing, the media, the social media, putting them in hands reach of everything that they desire. I'm sure I would have done the same thing. You give me everything that a young man wants, I would have indulged in all those pleasures. So these young people need a little bit of gentle nudge, an inspirational talk, an experiential learning program. I believe 1 in 50, 1 in 100 may make the jump and live a little more higher self-control life.
So sweet. I mean, I truly respect that point, and that's a platform for one to understand better about oneself. Now, when you use the word outdoor or experiential learning program, everybody has said in this AI world, two things are really waiting for. One is leadership quality, another one is decision making. So, how NALS is doing the program differently, or what is the USP of NALS in enhancing the leadership and decision making among participants?
Yeah. So when you speak leadership development, it's a huge, huge basket of objectives. Hundreds and hundreds of trainers, development agencies are available. Some are done in classrooms, extremely professional programs. Some are done in the outdoors, and some are done in the adventure space. Now, leadership basket with hundreds of objectives. It could include skills, as you rightly said, problem solving, decision making, strategic thinking. But we have narrowed it down to a few areas. We work on the survival skills segment. When you define survival skills, it's an ability to do an extraordinary thing or remove fear. All right. When you have huge amount of fears, you are limiting your skills. Your skills cannot be deployed when fear is very high. So a man has to survive. He has to limit his fear or manage his fear so his skills can be deployed. So we typically work on the survival skill segment as a primary objective. The secondary major objective for us is fitness and endurance, which means health is a very important parameter. People must be physically fit. The third major objective is you combine all these things and then put them into interpersonal space where temperamental management is the most important thing. Now, basically, we all understand human beings are all very intelligent at a corporate level. So people are highly intelligent people. At any level, entry level, they have been screened, they are graduates and whatnot. So this intelligence is limited by our temperaments or emotional situation. Now, you need to understand that intelligence is given. It can be improved a few points here and there with knowledge and learning and all that. But temperamental management is issue. So we all know that emotional quotient is more important than intelligent quotient. So we work rightly in the space of temperamental management, how to handle pressures, how to manage your emotions. And we have a huge amount of experience and actual data with us to help people uh, change their behaviors. And how do we do that is our methodology.
Truly appreciate the large database speaks volumes because there will be a pattern which will be emerging out, and normally that's a scientific version of doing it. I appreciate you have been working, which we call it as age no bar, gender no bar, geography no bar. 38,000 people have been in this running through this adventure. According to you, what is that one common thing you're able to figure out among all generations or ages? With one positive and one so-called area of improvement.
Okay, from age perspective, we work with from ages 4 all the way up. All right. Now, I would say not just one thing. We all are having a 3 or maybe 4 issues that all modern human beings are going through. I would say issues. I have drilled it down to 4 now. Let us say food. We are all eating inappropriate food now and then, or maybe largely. Our timing of food or sense of limiting our number of times that we eat is also dramatically changed, which means our intermeal snacks have gone up, or we are eating at inappropriate hours. The third and one of the most important parameters that almost all my surveys and visitors are all agreeing with, the sleep hours have gone below 7, in some cases very, very low, as low as 4 hours per night, which is extremely detrimental for human health. The last one is a lack of physical activity. Now, today I have a group in my campus, around 60 young engineers, second year from a very, very reputed college. I do a survey. 90% of them have zero physical activity. Almost 90% of them have less than 6 hours of sleep. And they all agree that 80% of them don't eat appropriate food or at an inappropriate hour. And this survey I have for more than 10,000 plus visitors. And this is a very, very documentary evidence. It's very unfortunate. We have moved dramatically from our ancestral way of living, which is just 50 years back, 60, 80 years back. Restricted time for eating, appropriate food, and then reasonably good sleeping hours, let us say 8 hours to 9 hours. And then a huge amount of physical activity necessitated by those days. It was necessary. And the modern comfortable life and availability of so many resources has changed these 4 parameters to a negative, which is, in my view, causing or likely to cause calamity, chaos, and possibly human DNA's compromise. And statistics would speak loudly for us. The depression, the disease, and human violence, disinterest, demotivation, health issues are spiraling. Doctors may give even more scientific data. In some video or documentary I saw, very simply said, comfort is the new disease. Simply said, comfort is the new disease.
Now, when you use the word, there are 60 people and you have done around 10,000 people surveys, which gives the harsh fact. How you feel as outdoor event can give a 1% differentiator? What would be your thought on that?
So, yes, training programs cannot change human beings. We can only inspire others. We can seed a thought. In a funny way, they say training programs enrich the trainer. He can become a better human being. He gets more knowledge during the process, commercially also. But the trainees get inspired based on various factors. I would say role modeling and experiential learning programs have a much higher impact. So I do meet a lot of these people who have come to our campuses in the last 16, 17 years. Some of them were young school going kids, MBA graduates, and corporate executives. I do bump into some of them, at least 50, 60, 70 of them now and then during my travel, or they revisit our property as college teachers. They have become school teachers, or they become corporate HR, whatever. And the one or two things that I ask is, do you do anything with that experience that you had 10, 12, 15 years back? And typically the answer would be, yes, sir. We have included exercise in our, or I don't waste food, or I have stopped drinking alcohol, or I never started drinking alcohol. I suddenly bought in this subject because these are all some of our major and minor objectives, along with those 3 other objectives which I elaborated in the opening session. We are working with around 25 minor and smaller objectives. So, which means many of them carried this learning with them, and some of them quit junk food. Some of them are doing intermittent fasting. Some of them have inspired themselves to the next level of fitness and health. Some of them have become marathon runners. And this feedback is motivating us, encouraging us to stay put, although this journey is very hard. We work 12 to 14 hours a day, hoping that 1 in 50, 1 in 100 can be inspired. And that's a big number in this modern world, which is highly distracting. We all are slaves to this social media. We all have distractions. So 1 in 50, 1 in 100, I would say, is a big number or an achievement. So that is, I would say, a good feedback loop for us is giving us these positive, uh, I would say, pressure on us to, continue this journey.
And out of curiosity, NALS, is it an acronym?
Earlier, we used to call ourselves National Adventure and Leadership School as a partnership firm. When we became a private limited, we are not authorized to use the word national anymore. So we use the word NALS as an acronym in all our official correspondence.
Very good. Very good. Okay, now coming to the next point, 2047 to be a reality. In the truest sense, we are looking only for youngsters because God's grace, even if we are there, we might not be useful probably in 2047. So the words they are telling across any industry, the two words are resilience and adaptability. This seems to be a game changer. Now, according to you, how one can build on these traits? I understand podcasts, motivation talks, all these are fine, but is there something from your long experience through experiential learning methodologies? How can I become more resilient and adaptable?
Yeah, this is a very simple science. All human beings are born with these strengths.
Right.
Okay, this ancestral strength has come to you in your DNA. That's for every human being. Courage, confidence, perseverance, resilience, patience, tolerance, all those strengths of our ancestors is there through the DNA in every human being. Although the strength may vary from individual to individual, I'll give a classic example. Every human being can run, I think, 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers very easily. But how do you do it? How do you find that you can run is you start running. Now, how do you find that you are a perseverant or a resilient person is you have to go through very difficult times. You have to fall down to experience pain and you have to get up. And then you know that you have resilience to withstand pain. Now, the classic example of how this is triggered in human beings. Now, this strength is there in you, granted. Resilience is there in you, adaptability is there in you. Now, how do you trigger it is beautifully done by the armed forces training. Now, I'm a young 21-year-old engineer with the shy nature and all that. They take you to an armed force naval academy. And in those 4 months, they put you through some very rough and tumble. It's called regimentation process. Your time management has changed and adaptability has changed. I am ready to withstand the rigors of an environment which can be hostile or plain uncomfortable. And I don't want to go into the details of the training. It changes from every armed force. But in 4 months, they have made me a runner. I can walk 12, 14 hours. I can carry loads of baggage. I am not disturbed by the weather. I am very resilient. Now, the word resilience is included into it. Now, nobody can invent resilience. It is there in you. Now, what we tell young people or anybody who come to our campus is, it is there in you. You have to discover it. How do you discover that you're a runner? Start running. It might be 1 kilometer or half a kilometer on day one, and a week or a month later, it might move to 2 kilometers. At some point in time, if you want, you can be a 21 or a 42 kilometer runner. There are a lot of studies to it. So that strength is there in you. And every human being should believe that this strength is there in them. Now, adaptability is typically a different ball game where the modern day comfort is killing adaptability of human beings. We are not exposing ourselves to the weather. We are excluding ourselves from the harsh environment. Now, the more and more comfort seeking that we have become, the less and less adaptable human beings will become when the environment changes. I'm talking from the environmental perspective. When it comes to human beings, it's the same. If we work and live with a lot of people around us, you have to adapt to each one's temperaments. You have to learn to live with people. Now, as we move away from a large society, go into smaller and smaller circle of people, that nucleus, we call it these days, is denying children the adaptability quotient or an experience to adapt. So, what happens is when you lose adaptability, you become intolerant, you become impatient. So, that you see all around us. People now and then are not willing to wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes for some things. They are now used to, things which should happen in a minute or a two. Although we might be, not punctual in a given situation, we may delay our visit by 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But when you expect things to be done in a snap, we know that adaptability is lost. So I would say in our training program, we put people through very, very uncomfortable situations. We have a very beautiful night trek in darkness, no torches, and we take them in a very hostile environment. Our accommodation is typical military bunk beds. We don't give any comfort that the resort will offer or your home cushions will offer. Shared toilets, simple vegetarian food. So when the person leaves our campus, he says, I don't want to leave this place. I'm not saying 99 out of 100. Almost 100 out of 100 will say, we don't want to leave this place. The most important thing is his inner resilience, adaptability, his courage, confidence levels are discovered. There are other hormones. He has have a higher level of feel-good hormones. That is also part of my study for the last several years. Certain feel-good hormones are there in each human being. So that once it is elevated, that place becomes heaven. Even though from an entry-level perspective, many people will say, what kind of barren or a rudimentary place this is? You enjoy it. And that's what happened to us as a young naval officer when I completed that 4 months of training. Naval Academy Goa became a memorable achievement for all of us. At the age of 21, we had completed a hard life. I don't want to go into the rigors of it. But at the end of the 4 months, we found that place heavenly. It had triggered our strength. It had triggered all the qualities that I have inherited from my DNA, ancestors. And that gives a huge amount of self-confidence that I can do it. And that I can do it is what I see in our customers now. Although we don't take them even 5% closer to the armed force way of training, hardly. That's not required also for the civilian population.
4 months of shaping, the entire rest of the life is disciplined and it's like an autopilot mode. It's beautiful. Now, from listening and hearing, definitely Sheshadri is a self-motivated person, a focused person who had clarity probably much ahead of time. But sometimes, as a normal person, people will get stuck, get confused. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm lost. See, my friends are all having a better life, better career. I am good for nothing. This self comparison zone suddenly comes to an individual. From your scientific base, from your knowledge, from your understanding about different generations, what would be your advice if such a situation happens to an individual?
So this question comes to us very often from young people. They feel they are lonely, friends are not talking to them, they are suddenly left alone. Some of their friends, rejection, these things are very common in all of us. I may have also gone through it. So I would give a classic example. If the weather is extremely cold, you can do only two things. One is wear something warm or leave that place. Okay. In a typical college setting, you cannot leave that place. So what do? You increase your resistance or strength or response to that given difficult situation. So in a figurative way or a metaphor, you say you wear a sweater in a cold weather. I would say to a young person, they have to increase their resilience, strength, and how do they do that is very simple. It's slightly difficult, but very simple answer. A very good example is if you want to improve your strength in your legs, you have pain. All right, you have pain in your legs, muscular pain, and the physiotherapist says, "Sir, for your body weight, let us say your muscles are slightly weak. Can you do some strength training?" So that's exactly, you have to increase the strength of your muscles, increase your nutrition, give rest adequately. This would be the physical equivalent of mental strength also, assuming all other parameters are same. An athlete, if he has to improve his performance, he has to eat well, eat appropriately, sleep adequately to recover, and then train appropriately. Now, coming to the mental aspects or the psychological strength aspects, this is exactly the same. Your brain is running due to the chemistry of the body. It doesn't have anything else to depend on. So, if you want to increase your resilience, I would say, let us go a little scientific, increase your serotonin. Serotonin is known to be a happiness hormone. It is produced when you do physical exercise. Simple. So people who don't do physical exercise are coming to the office or classroom with less amount of happiness quotient or a feel good. Let us be neutral, feel good quotient. So when you don't sleep well, you are a little more irritated the next morning is a bad thing. You are not as comfortable. So when a stone is thrown at you, not the literal one, I'm talking about a rude word or something, your irritation levels are higher, your tolerance is lower. So obviously you are going to respond or give something back which may be rude or not so temperamentally balanced. These are all beginnings of a bad relationship, a bad day, and then things go spiraling out of control. Several months later, people have not forgotten what you said. So I would say always go to a classroom with serotonin, the happiness hormone. That means it's mandated to exercise every morning. It's mandated that you sleep adequately. And to have good serotonin produced in your intestine, you should have a balanced diet. It's a very big science how serotonin is produced. It needs certain raw materials in the intestine. So people who have balanced diet, people who exercise regularly, and people who sleep adequately are at a higher position to produce certain feel-good hormones, which will give them the psychological strength to face the pain of the world's environmental situations or people situations. When I say pain, difficult things will come to you on a regular basis. So you should have the strength to withstand them, withstand criticism, withstand negative news. So if you can wear a sweater during a cold weather, you cannot wish the cold weather away. You wear a sweater. I would say increase your self-discipline back to my 4 aspects which I said earlier. Food, timing, sleep, and exercise are non-negotiable for human beings. You can come out of the difficult situation. I am assuming a few things, that the DNA defects are not there in the psychological part. There is no trauma in that human being, which means, there are external pressures which the body are too much to handle. They need certain other interventions beyond this 4. But assuming that all of us are having a reasonably good amount of DNA and there is no trauma, we can improve our psychological strength through these feel-good factors.
Beautiful. I think that's a 4-pillar message: proper sleep, balanced diet, exercise, and then taking care of oneself, the mindset, the happiness hormones is automated. And once I am energetic, I think this is the same statement which all the spiritual gurus also put across. You be the happiest person, you can compound the happiness across.
We can give case studies after case studies for this particular aspect that we are talking. We are now receiving calls from parents, principals, that we have a gadget addict at home, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, depression is high, she's not going to school anymore. These numbers are rising in the last 4 or 5 years. We used to get one call per quarter before the COVID period. Now we get a call or two every day. How do you change these people? This is a lifestyle issue. You can go to a psychologist, and a lot of good counselors are available. But at home, how do you say no to gadgets? It's a big challenge. And I do hear horror stories from some parents. Very recently, last week, a 13-year-old has attempted to commit suicide because a gadget was taken away from her by her parents. Now, you all will remember the last 10 day, 15 day, it was splashed across India's newspapers, where I don't want to go back to that story. It's horrible for those parents to hear it again and again, where 3 young people jumped out of the 9th floor because of some gadget. A lot of context must be there to it. Now, how do you handle lifestyle issues? We can. We have successfully rejuvenated more than 50 people who had gadget addiction problems, food addiction problems, sleep disorders due to both of the above, gadget problem and food issues. And they come to our campus for weeks and months now. They can stay in our campus. And what we have done typically is we regimented, the word regiment typically comes from the armed force training. I'm taking it out of my own liberties. We regimented their food timing. We regimented what they eat. We regimented their sleep hours. And we gave them huge amount of physical activity. From 2 kilometers, you will not believe it, per day, 25 kilometers is possible for these young people. And they have done it within a span of 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We have done that in bits and pieces, of course, and some people in one stretch. And when we did this, the feel-good hormone started rising again. Their stress level started going away. And in a science, somebody would say a gadget addict will, all of us are some level of gadget addicts. All of us have at least a few moments of gadget addiction. We actually trigger another hormone called dopamine. It's an achievement hormone, some kind of a recognition hormone. So when you pull the gadget away, you deprive them of the dopamine hormone. What we have done and understood now is adventure sports trigger the same dopamine. It gives them a sense of achievement. So you take one bad source and give them another source, and they have a feel-good factor again. And I had a classic case where one young boy was violent. He must be around 23 or 24, extreme violence because of bad food for several months in a long span. And within 3-4 weeks, in one of the video calls with his parent after the training, during the training program, the mother said, his behavior has dramatically changed. I can see that. I mean, I wouldn't know the change. The mother would know. And that boy continued to stay with us for, I think, 4 weeks and multiples of 4 weeks, I think 4 times. In between, we gave them 10 days break. He went home and came back. And he is returned back, I believe, back to his normal life. So the regimentation is what I am emphasizing to all of us, because our ancestral way of life is now largely destroyed or diluted. And this is going to affect the human DNA, the human health, both physical and psychological. So that's a proof we have now that it's working. And we are not into clinical, we are not into rehabilitation per se. We are able to rewire the regimentation or the lifestyle which our ancestors lived. One more very good important case study is sleep disorders are directly due to lack of physical activity. There is a huge science behind it. I don't want to go into it. Lack of physical activity will not allow you to sleep well because the melatonin production is disturbed. We have seen young people undergoing sleep drugs through a properly, prescription. And within the 4th, 5th, 6th day, this young child has come out of, slept one day without the drug. And we had to wake her up and said, why are you sleeping so early? We had dinner time. She said, I slept just like this. And we suddenly found that she had not had the drug that night. And she continued to sleep the rest of the day. She, I think, stayed 21 days with us. no sleeping drug. And we communicated it back to her parents, who spoke to her psychiatrist, and he said, very good. If she's sleeping without the drugs, it's good. So lack of physical activity and a change in lifestyle due to whatever family situation has driven these children. So we have reversed it very successfully, thanks to physical activity and whatever I said, the regimentation process. And now a few psychologists and counselors are referring their customers to us, because counseling is very important part of modern day rehabilitation or rejuvenation, and a physical activity and such a process which cannot be given at home. Now, a 14-year-old child sitting at home, evening, what does he do? What does she do? The gadget is around, the food is around, cravings are around. So well-meaning parents are unable to manage a child's cravings. Yeah, even adults cannot sometimes. So they send these kids to our campus, and we are able to turn around these kids very successfully. Is an experience that speaking for itself. And to add, a very important fact is modern day stigma is also very high. Parenting is very, very challenging. To understand that a child is having psychological issues, going to a psychiatrist means in India very stigmatized. The entire social network will ask a lot of questions. So to mask all this, we invented a term called, and for this particular program, Adventure Internship, a very neutral program. We send the invoice, all the documents as Adventure Internship. So parents can comfortably say to their family, my child has gone for an adventure internship. She is interested in a rock climbing program. So she is working in Manjakombai in this campus. And to add comfort to them, we send a few pictures of rock climbing, and they're all very happy. And this is very important because we parents are highly concerned about psychological health and the stigma around it. It's a disease. It'll take long time before we accept that this is also a disease. If you have a leg pain, you have to fix it. And psychological pain or psychological issue has to be fixed. But India, it will take a long time before we get over that stigma. So that adventure internship concept is playing very nicely to the gallery. We get a lot of inquiries now this year. Unfortunate to say this, we have completed over 45, 50 guests from that space. Very sad, but unfortunately these numbers are rising. Very sad, sorry to say that, but we are able to fix it or help these parents, help this child go back to his or her real life. And they have to continue to be in sports. It's not that it's guaranteed. If a person has got diabetes and the doctor says you have to stay away from this, they have to maintain that lifestyle for a long, long time. So that's a mandate. This child has to be in sports, cannot eat whenever he or she likes. And now and then they make a revisit to us to recharge.
I think that's a very interesting version, because we have heard about academic internship, summer internship, winter, but adventure internship, which is very beautiful. And one way, as a parent or as a person, even though I know that this is not good, my stigma is not allowing to be very bold to her or my daughter and say, please do not use it. Or I don't have that agility to put it across in a very sweet manner, but very hard manner. When it comes to the camp, there are rules and there are positives. So it's like the recharge button. You take away one and you give another higher dose. So mine loves to be on that. I forget I missed that mobile, but you are giving a better Instagram than what Mita is giving.
Absolutely. I mean, all human beings love nature, and we work around a 2,000-acre valley. It's no human beings in this valley except us and some tea estate employees. Beside our estate in Manjakombai, a huge forest, which gives the right amount of excitement, ambience to our guests. So all human beings love nature, they love treks, they love to walk. And then there is this excitement of now and then a news of a leopard in that area or wild animals. So it's a very important part of you should give thrill and excitement as part of the program. So that's something which has come to us as a blessing. We can't be doing this in a city where it's a concrete and not much of excitement and thrill. This has to be done amidst nature, and we are blessed at this point in time with this kind of ambience.
Great. From my side, I should thank your friend who started on a very casual chat. What we can do differently, and probably you gave an answer, which is going to be a huge boon for a lot of people around the globe. Now, one question to end with: how can one person come and experience this camp? What is the process? As a human being, as an individual, what is that route map? How should I apply? Or
We have a web URL, nals.in. Okay. So if a person goes there, there is a search bar. There they can type adventure internship. They will land on that particular page. So we have multiple durations and multiple costs listed on that page. They can read through the various documentation, what they have to bring, the do's and don'ts. A lot of material is available for them to read. They can click on a choice of 4 days, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, as well as 28 days. They can click it, and then they can choose a date of their choice and make the payment and come here. If they have challenges or more information is sought, they can pick up a phone or send a WhatsApp message. All those details are available on the contact us page. And on the appointed hour, they can come and experience this. Our campus is open 365 days. Our kitchen is vegetarian kitchen. 365 days we work and serve people here.
is this assigned to a big group, or can a family of 4 or 5? Is there some restriction, or it's open? How is it?
Okay, there are no restrictions. Individuals can come as small as 1, as big as 60. We try to keep it around 60, 65 max for our quality and safety, although we have 90 beds. So we keep it around 60, 65. A family of 4, 6, 7 are most welcome.
Beautiful. I think this is something which everybody should experience and experiment. At the end of the day, we are all blessed with a beautiful nature, and thanks to NALS for giving this huge platform to explore. So all of us should come there and visit. Yes. And you said about the location Majukombai. Where is it exactly, for my understanding, all larger audience understanding?
So this is distant from Ooty and Kunnur, approximately 25, 26 kilometers to the west of Ooty and Kunnur on the way to Kunda. From Coimbatore, which is the major railway station and airport, it's about 90 kilometers.
And I mean, just because we are curious about this camp and the experience, is there a certain timing you say, okay, it's better not to come, it's pinch cold, or this is the best time to explore? Is there some seasonal your experience portion?
Yeah, between November to February, this is the cold season here. The wet season is November, and cold season is December, January, and partly February. We are now currently just coming out of the winter. Daytime temperatures are now around 22, all right, and night temperatures are around 12, 13. It's a very beautiful experience.
I think that's a great opportunity for me to have Seshadri ji from NALS giving us a lot of insights. One, for the personal space. Second, for upliftment of oneself. And third, about the camp and its details. So with that, we are ending this conversation. And if you find value in what Seshadri ji said, it would be very happy. Please put it on the comments. We are very much happy for news and updates. And it's a strong request. Please do visit NALS camp. It's going to be a game changer because 38,000 people have experienced in different times. It's a huge opportunity for all of us. Definitely, we look forward to visiting and then meeting those places. Plus, getting a molding. Long time we have not seen a teacher who trains through experience. So it's a great honor for all of us. So thank you, Seshadri ji, for accepting our request and being on our show. And any closing remarks from your end?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vinod, for your introduction and taking me through this journey. It really is very, very memorable for me. Thank you for this. I would invite you to visit our campus, be our guest. And for the rest of the viewers, regimentation is the only process. Self-control on food timing, sleep, exercise is the only path for us. The moment we deviate from it, yes, small, minor, once in a while, it's okay. But now, if that becomes the only path, physical and mental health will start getting compromised, is my message. And I have to live this self-control every day because I'm also distracted with good food. I'm also distracted with gadgets. It's not that I have reached that 100% perfection. Yes, I also deviate from this set path, but yes, largely under control at this point in time. So I wish you, your family, the future, the very best. We all have to make India a very healthy nation. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.